Hello and welcome. I'm just going to let people join as we just go through some housekeeping elements. So, whilst people are joining, the session is being recorded and it will be shared afterwards. So, if you do need to drop at any point, don't worry, it will be there as a playback. We encourage questions throughout the session. So we run the sessions live every single month and we encourage questions just so other people can learn. Might be something they were thinking about and wanted to know too. And yeah, if you think it's useful and it will be useful for somebody else too, please do feel free to share as well. So I can see numbers are creeping up now, and I'll just do some introductions. So hi everyone, I'm Leah, I'm Product Marketing Manager here at MaxContact. My role is all about understanding our customers, so just understanding what they need, challenges that are faced, and how our solutions can help them to succeed. I work really closely with Conor and the product team, with the sales team and customer success, and look at how we bring new features to market, hopefully ensure clear and compelling messaging and help businesses to get the most value from MaxContact and our technologies. And Conor is on the call with me. So he is Principal Product Manager at MaxContact. He brings over 16 years of product leadership experience across a diverse technology range, including contact center software, financial services, and AI solutions as well. His career began in engineering and development. He progressed through roles in professional services, pre-sales, and channel management. A lot of variety and I'm sure a lot of empathy across those different roles. And notably, Conor launched a B2B product that attracted over 15,000 clients. It secured patents for AI innovations and it revitalized the product from decline to growth. Which is no easy job. So at MaxContact, he leads a spoken product focusing on enhancing contact center analytics to provide businesses with actionable insights for improved decision making. So that's a little bit about us.
Hello all.
Hi, Conor. We have some existing customers on the call, which is good to see, and a few new faces as well. So a little bit about MaxContact for anybody that doesn't know us. So we're the best cloud contact center software for delivering conversation outcomes and customer insights to generate more revenue compliantly. Our customers are across the sales, collections, and customer service space, and they work with MaxContact to build better and more intelligent contact strategies that deliver results. So for our customers, since working with us, they've seen talk time, sales conversion rates, and debt collection rates double since working with us. And at the beginning of 2024, we launched Spoken. So we have over 4 million hours of transcribed calls, summarized calls, topics tagged, and sentiment tracked. And it's quickly trending upwards as well, which is very exciting. And at the beginning of this year, we launched Success Intelligence, and that is what we're here to talk about today. So Success Intelligence is conversational analytics for better sales performance and customer experience. It provides visibility on missed buying signals, common objections, and most importantly, objection handling effectiveness as well. But before we go into that, we're going to talk a little bit about what we see across contact centers and why and how they're missing valuable insights. So we use speech analytics. This is how we gather our insights as a business. So we'll play a little bit of QA bingo and just see how many of these resonate with you. In terms of how customers usually operate when we speak to them, they're either already using a speech analytics software that they've maybe had for a few years, or they're doing things manually. So if they're manually listening to calls, they usually have an Excel spreadsheet typically in front of them. They are having to look out for compliance elements. So, was a direct debit mandate read out on a call? They're looking for legalities that might need to be said. And then on the flip side of that, they're also looking at performance metrics as well. So two very different things to look out for, and looking at how empathetic an agent was on the call. Did they actively listen for things that were being said? Two very different things to be listening out for. And I know when we've spoken to clients about this in the past, it's often question time when they've got their headphones on, people are coming over, they're asking questions, they're having to start the process. So it's really time consuming, and they're not always capturing the things that they need to. And then we have on top of that random call sampling. So they're going through picking out random calls with no kind of strategy behind it, just hoping to pick a couple of variations to give some good feedback and make sure compliance elements are being carried out. And then the call sampling is often limited as well. So some clients that we speak to will do a couple of calls per agent per month. Others, a couple of calls per agent per quarter. They just don't have the man hours or the resource that they need. It's a really time-consuming task. They're taking extensive notes throughout. So I'm sure that resonates with a few people. And then on the flip side of that, where contact centers or teams have a speech analytics software already, it's not a new technology. It's been around for between 10 and 15 years now. So if they've had it for a while, it's often clunky and cumbersome. It can be inaccurate because it relies on the manual input of data and the manual tagging of data. The technology behind speech analytics now has come a long way with the introduction of AI. But if you're using a legacy platform or product, it can be a time-consuming process. They're often really complicated and complex to set up, and with that comes a lot of time-consuming maintenance to keep it up to date and relevant as well. And sync delays are a big issue. We speak to customers where their previous platforms would sync twice a week. And of course, in terms of the information that they need to get back, people want that within 24 hours or as near to real time as possible. And then there's siloed data across the contact center. It's usually a separate system. It doesn't integrate with their call software. So because of those reasons, contact centers, sales and customer service and debt collection teams are missing out on really valuable insights. They're not seeing the whole picture across the contact center. They're seeing a really small part of it. And the process behind it is it's clunky, it takes time, it's not something that's prioritized as a business. We last year, as a company, carried out an independent benchmark survey of over 500 contact center leaders in the sales and collections and customer service space, and we were looking at metrics to track across those areas and how they drive successful outcomes for businesses. So looking at sales performance today and how do you compare? How does your sales team compare? And how do you start to deliver and drive results? Some of the things that we were seeing across different contact centers was, I'm sure we're already aware of this, but sales is a numbers game. So the report showed that teams that made more calls tended to achieve greater success. So the average number of calls from this report was around 65 per agent, which is a really big number of calls to hit. It's where your automated dialing technology comes in. And obviously, the more calls you're making, the more strategic you are with those calls as well, with skills matching and things like that, the higher the success rate is. And then we looked at first call close rate as well. So the higher your first call close rate, it typically shows how well your team are trained and qualified to convert. So a low call close rate, it might indicate a lack of empathy on a call or a poor understanding of the product or the service that they're selling, or not understanding or able to convey their value proposition. So average first call close rate was around 28% across the contact centres that we surveyed. And then just looking at conversion rates as well across those. So average conversion rate for campaigns is around 7%. That's within the, I guess, above average range, with around 26% of contact centres falling into that good range of between 4 and 5%. So just some nice benchmark stats to be looking at there around performance of your sales team within the contact centre and what they're coming up against. We also looked at some ROI stats as well. So how much revenue is generated per agent per successful call. And this was looking at nearly £200 per agent per successful call. So really giving you an understanding of the ROI per campaign or team or user. I think it's important to have a view of how other contact centres are performing, but also looking at how you benchmark against yourself in these metrics. And as you start to look at introducing dialing technology or using dialing technology and improving it with different tactical approaches with the campaigns, introducing things like speech analytics, how you then improve your own benchmarks. Tracking is, I think, an understanding performance is half of the picture, but I think the future of sales success, it really lies in smarter listening. So that's something that we're going to talk about a little bit more now with Conor. So I'm going to just pass over to Conor to share his screen. And we're going to go off camera for this now, just so you can concentrate on what is being shared.
Hey. All right. So as Leah said, the future of sales success is smarter listening. So it's all about turning every conversation you have into a competitive edge. Customer experience, obviously about the 3 S's: success, sentiment, and satisfaction. With your traditional CCAS analytics, you're only going to get the first 3 of these. With Spoken, you've got all 3, the full picture. So we're focused on success intelligence today to track agent performance and providing coaching insights. So you're seeing their true behaviors, habits, and trends. But let's start with improving visibility into AI insights to call sentiment for agents. So you want to get a consistent, objective view of customer emotions across every single call, not just the few you QA manually. What happens to sentiment when you make some changes to a script, or running some training, onboarding a new agent? So it's Spoken, you have a whole set of charts to do this. Let me show you. So if I take a look at last month, I can see that there's been some small shifts. So we've gone from 73% to 74% positive sentiment. But equally, we've gone from 8% negative sentiment to 9%, a small hop up. And let's kind of look down and drill into it and see if we can kind of understand. So if I kind of come down the bottom here, we have lots of different charts and tables to help you kind of understand what that's happening. If we keep this conversation focused on like agent performance and coaching, then instead of looking at campaigns, I might look at users. So is there a lack of empathy or emotional intelligence for some of my agents? Can I coach them on building a better rapport? Maybe Andre here, he's pretty high. As I scroll down through them, you can see that there are others in that same kind of boat. So we have Eric here and Estelle. Okay. I also have all of the different topics that are discussed on the call and the kind of level of sentiment towards each of these. If the sample size that I'm looking at is too large, then I can drill down even further. All right, so let me go back up here. My sample size currently is 7,630. We'll look at how we filter. We have like really broad and kind of powerful filters. So I can filter down by perhaps an individual campaign if that's what I'm interested in, by list or data supplier to see if it's a data quality issue that's leading to this kind of like negative sentiment. I can have a look at the peak sentiment or the end sentiment on the calls. So what's happening at the most intense parts of the calls and what's happening at the end of the calls, which are the ones that kind of truly affect those 3 S's of like customer experience. But in this case, let's filter down by topic. So always discussed on the call. So if I hit in disputes here and I apply that filter, unsurprisingly, you'll see the negative sentiment hop right up there. Okay. Now that I've got my calls, so I have like 332 now, instead of my 7,000 and odd, some kind of a manageable number, I can go in to look at them. So I can click on this playback page here. I can see all of the different interactions that support it. I can look through the summaries of those calls. Their kind of overall view of sentiment, the transcripts, the sentiments in there too, kind of any objections that came up in the call, the history of the call, everything, okay? I can even kind of drop down into the recording itself and understand where the different pieces of sentiment were and where the objections were in the different parts of the call. So I can go straight to those. I can play it at like double speed and everything to make sure that we're getting it like done quickly. So you want all of this because, well, customer experience is emotional, isn't it? It's about how customers feel during those interactions to give you that sentiment and satisfaction that you're combining with your CCAT analytics to give you success. Retention and loyalty are obviously tied to emotion. So negative sentiment, especially when you don't notice it, leads to churn, poor reviews, damaged brand trust. And agents need this kind of feedback. So without visibility, agents don't know when they're succeeding emotionally or falling short. Okay. Now, let's navigate here to our success intelligence page and look at some of these additional tools that allow you to kind of track the performance and provide coaching insights. So here we have kind of call etiquette statistics. So we can look at longest monologue or longest silence to figure out if the talk to listen ratio isn't right across a campaign, a team, or a user. Okay, we're looking at users right now, as that's where we're focused. I have these stats for all of the individual users. They are combined with their conversion rates. There's a number of successes that they're having, the successes per hour, all of that. So you can kind of begin to judge them holistically. Okay. Equally, I can have a look at their objections. So we're going to look at their objections so that they can turn more maybe laters into yes nows, like consistently. So here we can see the different objection categories that are trending. How is the coaching that we're going to deliver affecting what is here, affecting the trending of the objections? So we have all of the objections into categories. They're in need, time, trust, and cost. But equally, we can drill down by individual reasons. So maybe I am, and kind of tick them on and off. So maybe I just want to see the trend in not interested. Here we go, over that period of time. And we're really kind of measuring what matters. So by tracking that objection frequency, the resolution success rates, alongside the sentiment shifts we looked at earlier, we tie that frontline kind of conversations directly into business outcomes. So we can analyze those objection patterns, and what we'll do with them is refine our messaging, our offers, our scripts, so that fewer objections come up in the first place. Okay. Beneath it, there's a table of all the objections, and again, it's kind of categorized by into the various different categories of need, trust, cost, etc. But also kind of has it alongside conversion rate, some success statistics, and then you have the effectiveness. And that's the key one here. The effectiveness is how many times that agent handled that objection successfully or not. Okay. So if we drill through, so I can see that trending in a kind of breakdown of handling effectiveness. So here's my kind of basic information. I'm not interested. Here's the trending of it in it, the different weeks, but also down the bottom, here are my different agents and how effectively they're handling that not interested objection. Okay. Not only that, but I can go up here and I can like click in and it'll just highlight my top and bottom performance in this kind of area. Right? And I can drill through to see those various interactions. Okay, there's only like 4 or 5 or 9 here, so I'm going to go back and maybe what I want to do is drill through all of those different things. So I'm going to go to my filters again. I'm going to add my objection of not interested. Apply those filters and have a look at the calls. Okay. So here are all calls where the objection not interested has come up. And I can go through those like my sentiment calls individually and look through those kind of summaries, transcripts, histories to kind of figure out what's going on. But equally, I might do something a little smarter. So I might kind of, and I find it really interesting to understand the calls that are not interested, but whereby there was some buying signals on them. So let me add a filter here. And we have all of these kind of search and transcript filters. So I could add some kind of buying criteria that I'm looking for. So if it maybe contains, how much is it? That's kind of a buying signal. If the customer is talking about payment plans, another buying signal. And really we want to, if any of these come up, so instead of the ands, I'm going to turn this to an or. How soon could I get it? Is it in stock right now? Can I pick it up today? All buying signals. I'll just talk to my partner. It's another good one. Or I just need to check my budget. It would be helpful if I could spell. I can add individual groups within these. I continue to add those groups and make them more complex or less complex. Okay, so it's really kind of within your hands as to what you want to look at. If I apply these filters, there we go. We have gone down from kind of our top things to just 40 items. That so calls that have not interested objections that are that have buying signals within them. And I could even go and kind of say, well, it doesn't really matter unless it's like not a successful call. So I can add that as a filter as well. Okay. Not only that, but we make all of this information, so all of the call summaries, the transcripts, the sentiment, the objection handling, we make it available directly to individual agents within the Contact Hub agent platform. And that's so the agents themselves can be more efficient and they can look at themselves how to self-improve. But essentially, all of these tools mean Spoken helps coaching become more personalized and precise. So helping agents to improve faster without blanket training sessions. We can spot top and bottom performers, track improvement over time, and set goals with data. So not just instincts anymore. Providing this kind of feedback and allowing those agents to self-serve on some of that feedback boosts employee engagement and reduces turnover. So as a whole, Spoken doesn't just help you to listen to your customers, it helps you to understand them at scale. So it brings those hidden insights to the surface, it empowers your agents to perform at their best, and it gives your leadership the visibility needed to make faster and smarter decisions. All right. let's go back to the main webinar.
Thank you, Conor, for running through that. It was good to see it in action and just put some of those use cases to life around QA and how it could be done differently and how the coverage can be across everything and then the insights that that can reveal. If anybody has any questions, now is the time to ask. I'm just gonna see. Okay, we've got a question. How are you exploring the debt collection use case? So we have clients across sales, debt collection, and customer service. So that's something we've not spoken about yet.
Yeah. So I think the objections are really different, aren't they? Because they're different use cases. So the categories are much less kind of need and trust, but they're more kind of can't pay, won't pay, and the variety of like different things underneath that. We're partnering with the Debt Collection Contact Center at the moment to build those out. And if anyone on the call like wants to volunteer and partner with us, that would be great as well.
Yeah.
And we expect to have those done in the next few weeks.
Yeah, amazing. And you showed the filters there as well and the buying signals. Can you save the filters? What is like how complex can you get with them?
Yeah, so those kind of transcript filters, like you can write up to 250 or so different things, and you can mix them with different logical operators and ors. You can say whether they have to be like bang on, whether they don't contain things as in out of compliance, whether they're similar to or like. And yeah, so like if you're writing those 250 different things, you don't want to like do it over and over again. So definitely, yeah, you can save those filters, click on it, and then come back every day and have a look at your misbuying signals for yesterday, or your competitor mentions for yesterday, or your script adherence issues for yesterday, or your out of compliance calls for yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
amazing.
yeah.
Thank you. We've got a couple more questions that have come in. So the first one, can the analytics for spoken AI be downloaded into an Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah. Okay. So mm, they there's a like a download button on the top right. They can be like pulled out into PDFs. We're looking to kind of like do some kind of chatbot integration as well. Right now, no, they can't be pulled out into an Excel spreadsheet. You can pull them out into the PDF and then take them from there into the Excel. But it's a good shout, and yeah, something we should definitely look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And then the next question is, how are the objection categories determined? As a fundraising agency, we will have slightly different objections to normal contact centers.
I think that's similar to the kind of first question around, like there's various different sales objections, and then there's the debt management type of stuff has different objections again. And yeah, if we'd love to work with you as a kind of charity or fundraising agency in order to be able to determine what those are and get that kind of training set. So we essentially like take a lot of your calls. Initially, we like run through them. We find kind of open questions. From there, we kind of put them through small language models and we like consolidate them to understand what the objections should look like. We feed them into spoken and then they get pulled out as objections from there on.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
yeah, so definitely we can do that as well.
Yeah, it was an anonymous question, so whoever reached out, if you, we run design partner programs. That's something we do with all of our customers. And if there's something we're exploring or there's something new that we're taking to market, we often work with a client on that and what that looks like and start to build that out with real life scenarios and data and information. So yeah, please do get in touch off the back of the webinar. We'd love to see if we can work with you on that one. I'm going to say final call for questions. There's no more that have popped up, but this is usually when they do pop up. I guess whilst we're waiting to see if any more come in, just to recap on some of the things that we have covered. So we've just understood a little bit more around how contact centers, how sales, collections, and customer service are currently doing QA, and how that can be evolved to give more insights to the contact center. We looked at some benchmark stats across sales and how other businesses are doing it and how they're performing. And of course, we've explored spoken and the newest feature within that, which is success intelligence. If there are any existing spoken clients on the call, you should all have access to success intelligence now within the existing spoken package. And for any customers looking to explore spoken as well, for a limited amount of time, we're including spoken within the base package as well. So it's a good time to have the conversation. So there's no more questions that have popped up. But yeah, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you for Conor for running us through that. And we will share the recording afterwards as well.
Cheers, folks. Take care.
Lovely. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.